Westeros.
And welcome to our Morning Throners podcast. I'm Nelson.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're the fucking Morning Throners.
Like, fuck, man, I didn't see Tyrion killing Tywin at all. Had no idea.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Song of Ice and Fire podcast. We are your Morning Throners coming at you live with Tyrion 11. Also want to give a shout out to all you fans that have been commenting on YouTube, joining the Discord, subscribing on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you guys listen to your podcast. Thank you for the support. Gentlemen, how you guys doing?
Great app. Fans been giving us some love recently. What can you complain about? Who's got it better than us?
Nobody.
Nobody. Kyle, what'd you think?
Who's got it better than us? I don't know if you're going to leave it in the edit, but I was trying to already derail it, man. Like, holy shit. Like, right? Like, who could have saw Tyrion, like, coming out of nowhere and killing Tywin while he's taking a shit?
Yeah.
What a great app.
What a way to go out.
I know, right? Like, I didn't like Joffrey's ending, but this one was like, it's pretty satisfying, I think. I mean, you guys kind of talked me into Joffrey a little bit better. Like, the whole poison thing kind of went wrong in my mind. Like, it wasn't good enough. Like, I don't know.
Well, one thing I think is cool about Tywin's death is, like, one thing we've kind of mentioned about the heroes' deaths so far, like the good guys, like Ned gets beheaded after kind of lying and betraying his honor. Jeor Mormont gets betrayed by all his men, right? Like, our heroes don't really have heroes' deaths where they're going out, like, in battle, fighting for a good cause. Yeah. Like, they kind of get shitty deaths. Well, Tywin, like you mentioned, he literally dies on the shitter. Like, there's not really a less dignified death. So at least it's not just the good guys who are having the bad deaths.
And he gets shot in the leg and bleeds out. He doesn't even, like, it's not even like a clean shot.
Yeah.
I think it was like through his abdomen.
Yeah, through his belly, I think.
Yeah, okay, a little bit different then.
Like through the
guts. Show's a little bit different.
But still.
Yeah.
Tyrion reloads in the show.
That's true.
Kyle, you were kind of on Jaime and Tyrion having a meetup, though.
Yeah, I mean, it had to happen, right? Like, I didn't foresee Jaime coming clean. We'll get into all that, but like, I didn't foresee the how.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I knew it was going to be Jaime's arc of turning good that saved him, but I didn't know like what he had, the reason.
Yeah, we kind of were guessing because it seemed very intentional that Jaime and Tyrion had been in the same place for like the past 4 of their chapters. But they're not together. It seemed like intentional. George was keeping them apart for something like kind of big. And again, I think it's one of the ones that it is big and it hits really hard. Kind of like you said, like there's a big reveal in it. So this is one of the ones where there's like a few like chapters, relatively short, kind of a few big moments. The one between him and Jaime. There's the one between him and Shay, and the moment between him and Tywin. Like,
and even Varys too.
Yeah, and him and Varys. I
think that was actually part of my favorite. Like, one of the reasons I liked the chapter so much was the whole Varys stuff. Honestly,
yeah. I guess I'm just saying, out of like a 6 or 7 page chapter, I probably have 3 pages worth of quotes. So obviously we'll have to pull that back in a little bit.
Oh God!
You ready to lead us in, Jeff?
Yeah. So Tyrion's sitting in his cell, pretty dark, can't see anything. He's hearing noises outside his door, and he's getting ready to die. Whether he's dying here, where they're going to make a big spectacle of him out on the town square, he's ready, thinking of his last words.
Yep. He's like, if they take me out in front of everybody, that'd be pretty dumb for them. I know some things that I could shout to the crowd. Basically, thinking I'm not going out like Ned did. I'm gonna spill all their dirt. I'm gonna spill all the tea if they parade me out to the city.
He'd probably be gagged.
For sure.
Yeah, I mean, after the first one, I think it would be over, right? Like, he would say maybe one thing, and that would be it.
Backhand with a steel gauntlet. Yeah.
My sister's a whore. Yep. All right. So
he hears somebody coming to open the door. Pretty much is what happens. He's like, "Now's the time." Yeah. Right. Like, here it is.
They come in, door open, torchlight, and he's like, "All right, who's gonna fight me? Like, I'm going out with some blood in my mouth."
Yep. He's like, "Come here, you son of a poxy whore." And Jamie's like, "Is that any way to talk about our mother?"
It's a good line. Good line.
Yeah.
It kind of makes you wish that these two really haven't been together in a chapter, right? They're both kind of witty and sarcastic in the same way that if they had more conversations, it'd probably be funny.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I think we've probably only seen one conversation between Jaime and Tyrion from a POV, and it's probably the first ever Tyrion chapter in all the books. He wakes up at Winterfell.
And they have breakfast?
All right, I keep saying he wakes up. I think the chapter starts, he had been reading all night long because he doesn't sleep well. And exactly, he slaps Joffrey and then goes to breakfast. And I think they had kind of have this like, "Oh, you wound me. You know how much I care about my family." Because it seems like Tyrion's kind of like poking at like, I know Cersei and Jaime had something to do with Bran. And he's like, I kind of want to find out what happened. And Jaime's like, whose side are you on? And Tyrion's like, I'm always on my family's side. But like, I think that's literally the only time we've seen these two interact. And that was obviously from Tyrion's point of view. So this is still from Tyrion's point of view.
And a long time ago.
I think we get a little bit of it with Tywin. Like Tywin's not quite as funny, but I mean, like they definitely have some similar.
Yeah.
Wit going back and forth. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah. So little reunion here. Jaime's like, well, I left a little bit of me at Harrenhal.
Yeah.
And Tyrion's like, oh, well, I left my nose out on the Blackwater. So look at us,
Yeah.
noseless and handless.
Yep. Laughing at that. Tyrion says, like, yeah, I got this scar because they made me go out into a battle without my big brother to protect me. And Jaime's like, I heard you almost burned the city down. He's like, that's a lie. I only burned
Just
the
the
river.
river. And the Fisher's Market. But
Yeah.
who cares about that?
Yeah, that wasn't even part of the battle. That was,
That was to prevent anybody climbing over it.
That's probably what Jaime's talking about, yeah.
So he was like, all right, are you here to kill me? Is this how I go out? You kill me? And Jaime's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm here to save you.
Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, we hear the plan. Jaime does say in there that the plan for him was he was going to be marched out and killed in the tourney ground in front of everybody. And Tyrion even jokes like, "Oh, is there going to be food served?" It's like, I need to think of some last words. Don't worry about that. We're getting you out of here.
Yeah. So a little past midnight. Let's get you out down to Varys.
Yep.
So they're walking down the hallway. They almost trip over a couple of sleepy guards who've been drugged.
Yep.
And Varys is disguised as a Septon, waiting for him to take him to the Free Cities. He's going to be in good hands over there.
Was he disguised as a Septon, or was that in the show?
They do. He says that here. Jaime says that, but it doesn't seem like he's disguised as a Septon.
He's just dressed in like a brown thing with a hood, right?
Yeah, it says like
almost
moth-eaten
like a monk
robe.
Okay.
Yeah. So maybe that's what Septons wear, but yeah, Jaime does say he's dressed like a Septon.
I might have missed it.
Yeah, he basically is like, yeah, you're getting out of here. You're going to go to the Free Cities, and then just lay low, be inconspicuous. He's like, you might need to take a new name. And Tyrion's like, oh yeah, a new name. That's going to help. Like
that'll help the noseless dwarf walking around.
Yeah, exactly what Jeff always says. There's the no photo ID, but there's a few select people that probably don't really need it.
Yeah, be better off if you told him to like dye his hair and wear a mask or something.
Yeah, Tyrion should learn to walk on stilts and just get like a trench coat.
Yep, because Cersei's sending people after you. So Tyrion, as they get to this spot, and he's like, "Thank you for saving me," and Jaime's like, "Well, I owed you a debt," and this is where we get to probably the meat of the chapter, right? A lot of it from here on out is till we're in the bedchamber. It's just kind of shit that happened, but this is their relationship gets complicated.
Yeah, I mean, right? Like Jaime's definitely trying to make things right. Like that's obviously his motivation for this, right?
At least get back to square.
Yeah, did you remember, Kyle? There's probably been at least 3, maybe more moments where Jaime has thought something like the debt I owe Tyrion, or I've never lied to Tyrion except for that one time. But let's not think about that.
I do remember that, except for that one time. Yeah.
There's been like a few of those. Yeah. So this is clearly something that's been eating at Jaime, like even when Tyrion's not around, right? Like kind of anytime he's thought about Tyrion, this guilt kind of has eaten at him in a way
For
that
sure,
we
and
didn't
this
really know
is-
what it was until now.
And like I said, I mean, like we had the last Jaime chapter. He's obviously kind of trying to make amends and change his life. So it makes sense, but it's also like one of those things that, like, man, there's no apologizing for that. I mean, it's one of those that's like almost better off to just ride it out at this point, right?
Yeah.
Like nothing that I don't know. It's hard to say that because like it's so fucked up, like what Jaime did.
This is one of the things that I really don't like about the show. They just leave this entire conversation out of the show.
Did they like put in the rest of it though? That like he was married to a whore and all that stuff.
We do know that.
Yeah, the Tysha story is in there, but the whole like, oh, she wasn't,
but not the actual, not
so-
the ending of it. Okay, yeah, that's kind of fucked up.
Exactly.
Yeah, she stayed a whore.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I don't want to say too much, but I guess like, yeah, we can save some of that for the spoiler section. But yeah, so the big surprise is Jaime says, well, we kind of hit it at, but we didn't straight up say it. He basically says like, yeah, Tywin made me lie about that. Tysha, the woman you married way back when, she wasn't really a whore. She was what she seemed. This is kind of fucked up to say, but one of the points Jaime does make is even if she wasn't a whore,
She was in it for the money.
she was still just in it for the money.
I mean, are they confirming that, or are they just assuming that?
I think they're just
That's
assuming
definitely an
that.
assumption by Tywin.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is so fucked up, right? Like Tywin thought everybody was in it for that.
Who could love Tyrion was Tywin's mind.
For sure fucked up, but like, isn't it probable?
How do you know?
I don't know for sure, but like from what we've seen, there's not many people that are jumping over each other to get in bed with Tyrion, right? So I'm not saying it couldn't have happened.
I mean, he might have connected with this girl. I don't know this girl.
I mean, that's definitely what Tyrion thinks, right? I just think that Jaime does. It is a valid point that a lot of fans don't think about. I think a lot of fans 100% take Tyrion side of things, and it's like, oh, it sucks. I think it's, for being honest
still
about it,
super fucked up, Nelson.
Sure, maybe I shouldn't even be saying it, but
yeah, it's definitely more. Let's just say this in today's day and age, like completely fucked up. In this realm where they laugh at dwarfs and crippled and don't believe that they should live, people are walking around that dwarfs should have been killed at birth because they live a shitty life from there. It's a little bit less likely that he would find a partner that loves him for him.
Sure,
just because they have that preconceived notion that dwarfs are the worst. They're monsters, right? There was all the rumors when he was born. So,
and in some places, like the whole like being a gold digger, like sugar baby, sugar daddy thing, like that's like a thing that both parties enter into willingly, right? Like I'm pretty sure there are, in today's age, there are like online places you can go to like find a sugar baby and stuff, right? So
there's TV shows about it now where it's like, yeah, I have money, just come be my companion.
And I think that's kind of what Tyrion and Shay kind of was like his sugar baby, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was even what she said kind of at the end. She's like, when can I come to the nice stuff and wear jewels and blah, 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 right?
I'll stay with you. I'm cool.
Yeah, so I think it is fucked up, but I think it is an important part to throw in there, that especially when you're looking at it from Jaime's side, right? Like, wow, I can't believe Jaime actually did this. Well, Jaime's
two wrongs don't make it right.
I agree, but Jaime's also a kid getting manipulated by his dad. I think there is some sense into what he's saying. So he orders
a massive sexual assault on this girl.
Jaime says he didn't know that was coming, right? So that's the next part. Tyrion's upset, right? He's like, wow, this is my wife. Clearly, like, I can't believe you let all this happen. Like, you know what happened. And he's like, I didn't know that would happen.
It happened.
Tyrion's like, why should I believe you? Smacks him. He falls down. He's like, I guess I deserve that. Oh, you deserve more than that, and you're going to get it.
Yeah. He's just like, yeah, you, my sister, and our father got a lot worse coming, and don't forget, a Lannister always pays his debts.
Yeah, he's definitely flipped the switch on the Team Lannister at this point, for sure.
Well, kind of. There's a line at the very end, like with him and Tywin, that's kind of like, I'm the head Lannister now. It's kind of like how I kind of see that, but we can get to it when we get to it.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to read that quote because I don't remember the line that says I'm taking over the Lannister family.
Yeah, me either.
It's not quite that, but there's there's this conversation with Jaime here. Back to the moment. There's kind of two sections, right? So after that section, Tyrion tries to just like walk away, but he's still behind the gate. So he's like, open the gate. Jaime opens it. He's like, are you coming?
Awkward. You try to storm off and then you can't get through.
You both
door.
Go in the same direction. Hey man, I'll see you later, and then you both walk the same way. Yeah,
that is awful in a normal life situation.
Yeah. Here, I guess Jaime just like gave him some distance and walks off the other way. Because where's he going? Just deeper into the cells. Maybe there's a door on the other side. But after he opens the door, he's like, "You coming?" Tyrion's like, "Not with you. Tell me where I'm going." And Jaime's like, "I gave you the truth. Can you give me the truth? Like, did you actually do it?" And even the question itself is another insult to Tyrion. The fact that his brother...
I think that might even be maybe not a bigger offense because he's super angry about Tysha, but it's like, you really think I could do that? Like, after all this, you think I would do that?
And again, I think it's a valid question by Jaime because Tyrion goes on to lie about it, but he gives a ton of very good evidence why Tyrion would want to have done this.
But Tyrion never would have lied about it if he hadn't just gotten so angered.
Agreed. Yeah,
for sure. He wanted to hurt.
Like if it was just a walk out and it was like, all right, see you later. But like, wait, did you do it? He probably would have been like, no, Jaime, like you, idiot.
My point is what Tyrion says here. He's like, of course I did it. He was cruel to me. He sent a person after Bran. Like, there's a lot of good reasons why Tyrion would have wanted to kill him.
Every good lie has a little bit of truth to it, right? Now you've said that before.
Yep.
You skipped the part where he said he noticed. He said, "Hey, can you fight with that left hand?"
Yeah.
That was a good one.
He's like the first person that really kind of, is out loud questioning him, at least. I know we kind of went through it with some of the older White Cloaks. Yeah. It sounded like they were kind of pushing on him, but out and out by Tyrion. And he's like,
yeah.
Yeah, and then he says, we'll be a fair match, then at least.
Because Jaime, when he asked him that, Jaime says bitterly, rather less well than you. So it's like, he's like, okay, good. So next time we see each other, it's going down. That's what Tyrion says, yeah.
So he kind of is threatening him as part of it too.
Yep. But when Jaime like presses him, you didn't answer my question about Joffrey.
Of course I did it.
Tyrion says, yeah, you stupid, blind, crippled fool. Must I spell every little thing out for you? Very well. Cersei is a lying whore. She's been fucking Lancel and Osmond Kettleblack and probably Moon Boy for all I know. And I'm the monster they say I am. Yes, I killed your vile son. He made himself grin. Must have been a hideous sight to see. There in the torchlit gloom, Jaime turned without a word and walked away. So, first off, like, we're pretty sure Cersei was fucking Lancel. The Osmond Kettleblack, Tyrion kind of says this confidently. Do we know anything about Cersei fucking Osmond Kettleblack?
I thought it kind of sounded like they were being a little more buddy or whatever, right?
He's part of their sworn sword now, right?
He's one of the White Kingsguard now. Yeah.
A little bit more one-on-one time, possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, like, how did he get in the Kingsguard? That was probably right. Cersei's doing. She was.
Well, yeah, they were like nobodies, right?
They were working for everybody.
They were working for him, who was actually, but they were actually working for Bronn. But they were
actually working for Littlefinger.
We're not sure, but yeah, their dad is working for Littlefinger, so there's probably ties there.
Yeah, unless they've changed. They did mention that the one since getting the White Cloak has changed a little bit of his allegiance, right?
Yeah, that's what Littlefinger says. So
I guess that would make a little more sense.
Yeah, but is it more allegiance to Cersei for giving it to him, or more allegiance to honor because he's in the White Cloak? Littlefinger was, I think, hinting towards honor, but I think it could go either way.
All right. So he walks away, not looking back. He's going to find Varys by himself. So he finds Varys, and he's like, yo, I called on you. What the hell? You didn't come. He's like, dude, I was being watched. Your sister had people all over me. Like, I couldn't help you.
Called on you to be a witness at the trial, or at least help me with the trial, right? Like,
yep. And Varys basically says, like, yo, dude, we've had this conversation before. I help you out as long as I can, that it's no risk to me.
It's not going to impact me. Yeah.
He's like, this was definitely an impact to me. You were public enemy number one. I was on the other team.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you're helping me now. And he's like, your brother can be very persuasive.
Which I think is point Jaime, right? That this wasn't Varys' plan. I think it's cool that it was Jaime's plan. And he's like, all right, it wasn't them two both like, hey, let's get your brother out. And
we knew he's been good lately.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I wish Tyrion would have told Tywin when Tywin's like, who did this? Oh, it must have been Varys. I wish Tyrion would have been like, it was Jaime.
That would have been
bang dead. It was the golden child.
Wouldn't it be cooler to see the house burn without him dead, with that info? Be like, yeah, guess who let me out? And I'm, but he had to kill him, right? Because then he wouldn't have gotten away.
Then, Jaime would have gotten in trouble, yeah.
But yeah, just imagine like Tywin coming down on Jaime, who they've already been at odds. So.
Oh yeah, Tyrion trying to get double back at Jaime. That would have been a good one.
Yeah. So, and then he asks about his loyal wife Sansa. Where's she at? And there's no sight, no word of her. And they're really surprised that Dantos isn't back drunk.
I was gonna say, they do start putting the Dantos thing together. It didn't seem like he was saying for sure that he thought they were in cahoots, but
they were last seen together, and we kind of heard this, that they were, Lady Tanda saw them, right?
Well, and he does say that, but I mean, he doesn't really say, I don't know. It doesn't sound like he's like super convinced it was their plan, right?
I think you're probably right that he's maybe piecing it together that, there are two people missing, and those two people happen to be, one of them Sansa, and the other person that just happens to be missing after this whole thing is the person that was last seen with Sansa. Like, just the evidence for it makes him look involved.
For sure, but it's also Dantos. I don't know. And I feel like Varys would have more information.
He should. He's a bad spy master.
Yeah. So, where are they at right now? They're in the
Black Cells.
So we get a little peek behind the curtains of Varys' network here, right? Yeah, it's the like below the Black Cells. There's another level.
Yep, that's where they go.
And then there's like a secret tunnel system there as well that Varys can like utilize to get around. I mean, we saw Shay come through it once before, and Tyrion actually recognizes it.
Yeah, so before we get to the tunnel system, about the dungeons, basically the new thing we learned here is we knew that there was different levels. We knew that there was the level that's completely black. That's where Ned and Tyrion had been kept. Like you said, there's a level below that. Varys says that these were built for torment. Anyone brought down here,
the sub dungeon,
they never got out of there.
Never sees the light of day. They never breathe a breath of air without agonizing pain. It's like something like, it's bad. You don't want to be down here. And he's like, we're gonna leave the lights off because we don't even want to see like the.
Can you imagine if like they just torment people and then just left them down there?
Yeah, you think you'd smell it, like you wouldn't have to see it, but
I guess at some point the decomposition stops.
Yeah, I guess the rats get gnaw the bones and you just got bones left or something.
So pretty cool. Again, I don't know how much we've told Kyle about like Magar and the Red Keep, and
I think he probably knows as much as we do just from the books at this point.
that there's tunnels, right? That there's like
there's secret
crazy
passages
shit,
everywhere,
and he killed the architects, right?
Yeah, that was known. Yep.
Okay, I think it's just sweet.
Yeah.
Well, that was what I was saying. I guess is that was part of why I like this, is to kind of get to see how it works, and I mean I don't understand, I guess, 100% the mechanics, but it was cool, like to get up top. And I mean, I'm probably jumping ahead. He climbs the ladder eventually to go up the Tower of the Hand because he figures out where he's at.
Before you get there, I think the next part is really cool, right? So that we come out of the fourth dungeon, we get into this room, 5 doors, right? So Varys has to open a key. There's 5 doors going different ways. Varys is like, oh, let's go this way. There's like a dragon head brazier with some coals in it, right? So they have some light again.
Uh-huh.
And this is where there's a ladder into the wall going up. And Tyrion realizes where they are because there's this mosaic on the ground, this like 3-headed dragon mosaic. And he's like, oh, Shay told me about this place one time. This is something that I definitely remember talking to Jeff about in the spoiler section, because to me, this kind of at least tells us. So Shay telling Tyrion about this is in a chapter that we read. And that kind of tells me that at least at that point, that's when George had this planned.
Yeah.
Right. Why is Shay telling Tyrion about a mosaic in the secret passageway unless Tyrion's going to use that later to get into the same room? Right. So I think that's cool because I'll read the quote right now. It's relatively short and it's from Tyrion 12 Clash of Kings. So it's from last book, like towards the end, but still like the second book. Tyrion gazed around the room. Everything seems much as he left it. How did you enter? Show me the hidden door. She gave a shrug. Lord Varys made me wear a hood. I couldn't see, except there was one place. I got a peep at the floor at the bottom of the hood. It was all tiles, you know, the kind that make a picture. A mosaic? She nodded. There was the color red and black. I think the picture was a dragon. Otherwise, everything was dark. We went down a ladder and walked a long ways until I was all twisted around. Once we stopped so we could unlock an iron gate. I brushed against it when we went through. The dragon was past the gate, and then we went up another ladder with a tunnel at the top. I had to stoop, and I think Lord Varys was crawling. So, just kind of cool that Shay exactly describes this tunnel system a whole book ago.
Yeah, and then he even talks about, like, if I was any taller, I'd have to crouch down when he gets up top eventually.
In that same chapter, too, Shay is wearing... Like, Tyrion comes back from a council chamber. Or actually, I think in that chapter, Tyrion comes back from Cersei showing that she has... Aliaya, right? It's right before the Blackwater. She has captured Tyrion's whore. Tyrion realizes it's the wrong whore, and then Tyrion gets back to his council chambers or to his bedchambers, and Shay is waiting for him. So he's like all happy that she's not hurt. She's already naked, I think, wearing his hand necklace. In that chapter, she's naked, waiting for him in his bedchamber.
She's got a necklace fetish,
wearing the hand necklace. I think it's an intentional parallel, that chapter and this chapter in hindsight. Yeah. So. One of those cool things.
So how long ago was that?
About a whole book ago.
A whole book ago. Pretty sweet.
Clash of Kings.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting her to be in the room. I don't.
It's a curveball.
I mean, it's just one of those things that George has says he writes the books meant like so that there's a lot of payoff on a read through, on like a reread. That's something that I think like even like somebody who's not going through with like a magnifying glass, that one kind of jumps off the page, right? When after you've read it the first time and then you're rereading.
If you can remember it, it's again the problem with these rereads is that you read it so long ago. Like unless you can speed read through it, that was a long time ago, and you forgot those details.
But yeah, so he starts climbing. Tyrion realizes where he's at. He's like, "I'm going up."
I think it's cool, kind of how like Varys like didn't fight him too hard. Like, no, come on, you really got to go. But it's that door, and then it's 263 rungs. So please don't go. But if you have to go, it's the third door on the left. And
I think it's weird. I think that's weird. Like Varys should be fighting more here.
I think Varys knows he's going.
He has to know something bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but why does he care? Like, what's the if he gets caught, how does it hurt him? Does he rat?
Well, I think that's the worst thing is that he could get caught.
If Tyrion does, well, let's just say this: Tyrion doesn't come back down the ladder, Varys is probably taking the boat across the sea.
That's a good point. There is an escape plan, but still, like, you don't want that, right? Like, well, I guess to that point, like, Tyrion goes missing. Who's going to be the number one suspect? Tywin jumped to Varys. Is Cersei going to jump to Varys? Like, does he kind of have to go leave anyway?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He's just not the trustworthy one, right? So
yeah,
he's definitely on the list.
That's the only way I see him being okay with this. If he's kind of already in the, I'm already leaving. Like, fuck, I'm already done with this place because this ruined everything. So whatever, it doesn't matter to me anymore. Kind of to your point, I'm leaving on the boat too. So who cares? Yeah. So maybe.
Yep. So Tyrion starts to climb. Tough climb for for the guy, but he does it. He stays committed. That's a lot of rungs.
What's a standard ladder, like 15, 20?
Probably.
Standard is probably,
one per foot, which is what, a 20-foot ladder?
Yeah, 20-foot ladder, maybe. Yeah, that would be my thought. I mean, I would say most ladders probably like 15 to 10. 12.
I didn't think about it either. I thought about
20 is a big ladder.
I guess in all the times I've read this in the past, I always thought it was like, oh, he climbed and he got to the top and then he got off. But that's not really what it is. It says like he has to count to 230 because that's the
reach
passage
for the tunnel.
But that is he passing? Is there like 20
other
passages?
Tunnels?
It's like honeycombed.
I don't think so. No, because that's the Tower of the Hand, like right, like that's Tyrion's at the top or Tywin's at the top, right? The Tower of the Hand is.
But I don't know if you reread that little section that like when he's getting off the ladder into the tunnel.
I think it's a more treacherous off than it just being like you're up, you're done, you're off, right? Like it's probably like you gotta like figure out how to step onto this weird little ledge to the side of the ladder or something.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking. Like if there's more than one, like if it's only one, why wouldn't it just be you get to the top and you're in the tunnel? The only reason it would be off to the side is if like maybe there's another one off to the side to the right.
Yeah, well, I think there's definitely
why he's like 230 to the left, third door. Yeah.
We know that other people live there, right? Because Arya and Sansa lived in the Tower of the Hand with Ned.
Yeah,
so there's
good
other
point.
bedrooms.
Yes. Double good points. Good point that it's the Tower of the Hand. I agree with Jeff that it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not like important to live the floor below.
All right, so he gets there. He finds the right door. Makes a loud noise on the way through.
I didn't notice that. I'm sure you're right, but it
didn't
pop out to me.
Well, I mean, before that, Jeff, so he overhears the guards and he kind of get a little like it amplifies to the spot, so that's why Varys can hear everything. It's not really little birds; it's probably just him like being in like the right spots and everything, right? Like and knowing where to listen and creep on conversations is definitely part of it.
Yep, Tyrion sees how Varys makes the sausage.
And then, like you said, Jeff, he goes to the room, he clicks this lever, and it's like noisily the hearth opens up behind the fire.
When he pulled down on it, there was a soft rumble that sounded loud as an avalanche in the stillness.
The stone probably just ground away a little bit, right? And then
like
Shay
Scooby-Doo.
did hear it.
It's like Scooby-Doo.
Or some counterweight secret door. Yeah, Minecraft.
Just rocks running.
The pistons. The pistons were moving.
Yeah,
for the secret
that's
fireplace.
Definitely what it was. Redstone.
Yeah, the redstone.
So yeah, he's about to step through, and he hears somebody yell at him.
So real quick, it's the conversation between the two guards is kind of funny, right? They're basically talking about like, oh, it'd be nice to fuck Shay.
Did that give you a hint that Shay was around, or you just thought that they were talking about her, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I knew she was like, I didn't think she was gonna be in with Tywin.
Yeah,
it was weird that they were calling her the Imp's whore.
Yeah, it's really strange.
They could have called her the Hands whore to like kind of make it work either way, right? But they were calling her the Imp's whore.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Like they should know that she's in there. They're the guards, right? So
yeah, they definitely know she's in there. But she was just on stand as the Imp's whore, so
yeah. But it's funny because the one guy Lum is like kind of anti-Tyrion. He's like, oh, he's a pussy. Like he probably he sucked at fucking Shay. That's why we'd be better at it. And he's gonna come to the block like a little bitch tomorrow. And the other guy's like, I think he's gonna come proud as a lion. I'll bet my boots on it. And that's just funny because later when Tyrion grabs a crossbow, he's like, I'm only gonna get to kill one of them. I'm gonna kill Lum, the one who was talking shit.
You lose.
Yeah, you lose.
Yep. So he walks through the hearth and hears a woman's voice coming from the bed. Is that my lion? What'd she say?
I think she just says, my lord.
My lord, yeah.
Like this one kind of hurts for Tyrion. It says, that might have hurt me once when I still felt pain.
Yeah, he knew what it was immediately, right?
Yeah, he just doesn't care.
Well, he cares.
Well, cares, but he's like, I'm past.
He didn't like the giant of Lannister when she,
So I mean, it was everything that she pretty much used against him.
Yeah.
When he pulls back the curtains, realizes it's Shay, naked with the necklace, the hand necklace on, and it's like, oh no, like Cersei made me say those things. I'm so sorry. And your dad, he scares me so much. Like, please take me with you. Let me wear all the silk.
Yeah, I don't need to be here. I don't want to be here, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Did you ever like it? My touch?
Yeah, anything. Yeah. And she's like, of course, more than anything, my giant of Lannister. And he thinks to himself, like, oh, you fucked up. You lied again.
You're gone.
And he slid his hand under his father's chain and twisted. The links tightened, digging into her neck. For hands of gold are always cold, but a woman's hands are warm. That's interesting. That's not a thought. Tyrion straight up says that to her when he's killing, he's killing her.
While he's murdering her.
He's singing this song to her.
Yeah.
That was his song, right? That was the...
Yeah, he said it to her or something.
That was what Simon had made about Shay and Tyrion's relationship as blackmail.
Oh.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Because Tyrion was the hand by himself. His hands of gold are always cold, but he wants Shay.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, and then she's punching him in the face, pretty much, as he chokes her to death.
He gave the cold hands another twist as the warm ones beat away his tears. Yep. So then he pops up, grabs Tywin's dagger, tucks that into his belt.
Pops up. So does he kill her?
I think so.
I mean, I think so. Sounds like
I'm
it.
going to say it's confirmed.
He just pops up and walks into the bathroom. She doesn't seem to be screaming. I did think it was weird that she doesn't scream right away. She tries to have a conversation with Tyrion. I'd be screaming for Lum. Lum, get your ass in.
Well, she didn't know.
Well,
she's still playing the game. She thinks
she should have known. She should have known something
Once
bad
she
was
starts
happening.
reaching for her, even if the beginning of the strangulation, she probably had one last scream in her.
As soon as she saw Tyrion, she should have been like, "We are in trouble."
This is good.
Let's scream for Lum. Yep.
Yeah. So he starts walking. He sees a bunch of grabs a dagger, and then there's also some weapons up on the wall. One's a mace, I think.
Halberd, mace, crossbow.
Yeah, just big heavy shit. So he steals a dagger and a crossbow because those are the two things that he can really reach and use.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a little mini fridge there that he could step on to grab the crossbow.
Yep. So he walks over to Tywin. Again, I think it's kind of cool. Tywin doesn't really seem to be too shocked or bothered. He's like, "How'd you get here?" He's like, "Yeah,
they
what
must have
happened?"
this one. Well, one, he knew Tywin was on the shitter, right? So that just be like, oh, Dad always woke up in the middle of the night to go poop after.
Yeah, that was a weird line where he's like, "I knew where I'd find him."
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Why would you expect him to?
Well, I mean, I think at the same time, it's like, where else would he be if he wasn't in that room already? I think is part of it, right?
I mean, we don't know too much, but I think there is a bed chamber. Then there's the Solar, right, which is where you sit at your table and write papers. That's where I would think Tywin was.
Yeah.
Maybe those two rooms are the same, but I think that I thought those would be the three
I feel
mains.
like they're different rooms the way that they talk about them.
I would guess Tywin's up late writing letters, not up late pooping, but who knows?
Tyrion knew. So yeah, I like that Tywin wasn't afraid at all, or if he was, he didn't show it.
Maybe Tywin was taking his post-nut piss. That's why Tyrion knew he'd be there.
And he sat down
Shay's
for
in the bed. We talked about this last time. Kyle's a big sit down to pee guy. Is that where we live for that?
I'm pro sit to pee. Hell yeah.
There's definitely moments for it. I don't know if we were live for that, but now we were.
You're peeing on your feet, Jeff. If you're standing to pee, you're peeing on your feet.
You get some splashes for sure.
If you're in the middle, this situation, middle of the night, you're groggy, or you got a whore in your bed, you don't really want to go back and have that conversation. Have a conversation. just sit to pee. You know what I mean? Take a few.
Yeah, I can't say I'm in the camp, but that's okay. I'm not judging.
Sucks to suck.
Jeff's a strictly business guy.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeff likes piss foot.
I wipe down to see if there's some splash. It's no big deal.
That's the other thing is I'm too tall. There's a lot of
No,
I'm just pissing
You're an
from too
idiot.
high. There's so much splashback from. It's like
You're
a
an
waterfall. Think about that. It's like a
that
5
maybe
foot
that's
waterfall.
true for you, but your whole urinal thing is complete baloney.
I like urinals.
You don't think that you could pee in the shortest urinal, which is just crazy. Just aim down.
The part on my body where the pee comes out of is above the top level of the urinal.
That doesn't matter. Take 4 inches back and aim down, and you're fine.
It's just
4
weird.
inches back. You want him to stand at the sink?
Nelson's hugging the wall to pee in public.
What if I cough while I'm peeing? Now I'm peeing on the wall.
I'm out of this.
I just go into a stall. I'll just go into a stall and sit to pee if there's only a little urinal open.
Just back up a tad.
My argument, what I hate is when I come into the bathroom and there's some 5'3" guy at the big boy urinal. Okay, buddy, know your role.
Oh, shut up, Nelson.
Get in the little boy urinal.
If anything, peeing up is a lot harder than you taking a step back and peeing down.
I know. I'm sure that guy probably drives that 5'3" guy probably drives a truck with jacked up wheels. Just, you know what I mean? He's compensating. He just wants to use the big boy urinal because he doesn't want to feel like a little kid.
There's nothing wrong with the little boy urinal. Get up there. The thing is, you pee in the first urinal available.
It's all pipes.
Yeah.
They all go.
Do you guys ever play that Flash game online? It was the urinal picker where it would just show you a situation where it's a different type of bathroom and where people were and which urinal do you
there's
pick?
rules. There's rules to this thing.
Yeah. There are. I mean, there 100% are.
Back in it. So Tyrion's like, all right, tell me what you did. What'd you do with Tysha? Yeah,
I just want to know one thing.
Before that, he was like, yo, what are you doing here? I'm not killing you. You're going to the wall. Like, relax. I just had to get Mace Tyrell on board.
Yeah, he says, who released you? He said, I'd love to tell you, but I swore a holy oath, which is kind of telling him Jamie did it, right? Like the holy oath is...
I was wondering if that was a hint to that too. I was also wondering if Tyrion was... He's just kind of trolling him every single question. He's like, put the crossbow down. He's like, what if I refuse? Are you going to punish me? It's like, I'm literally already on trial for, like, I'm going to get killed tomorrow. What more can you do to me?
And that's kind of back to the point of, like, a deserter being the most dangerous person, right? Like, once you set to death, like, there's no rules anymore.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. But yeah, Ned says that really early on to Bran, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, don't worry, I was going to let you go, but which is weird because he doesn't really explain this. I wasn't actually going to kill you. I was going to send you to the wall. I just couldn't because I needed Mace to agree. Well, it's like, okay, well, hold on. I'm supposed to get killed tomorrow. Do you have a plan to get Mace to agree in the next 24 hours? Like,
while you're pooping
keep talking there,
banging my old girlfriend.
Yeah,
that's so weird. Yeah, all this is so strange.
Yeah.
So he's like, all right, tell me what you did with Tysha. What did you do with after? Did you kill her?
Yeah. What if I don't want to go to the wall? I don't want anything from you. I'm done with you. I just want to know one thing. What's up with Tysha? And he's like, who? And Tyrion gets a little pissed by that. He doesn't even remember who she is.
The girl I married.
Yep.
Oh yes, your first whore.
Oh, that's
aim.
Yeah, that's a stab into the rib cage. We didn't twist the knife yet, but
next time you say that, I'm gonna shoot you.
This is the Hancock. Call me asshole one more time.
Yeah. People didn't like Hancock. I thought it was a decent movie.
I really liked that movie. I was probably too much of a Will Smith fan. I was just a Will Smith fanboy at that time. But I really liked Handmaid.
He had a lot of good movies in that.
Wild Wild West. Era. Nelson's favorite movie, Wild Wild West.
Yeah, I should have known if I've actually seen that one. I've seen the music video.
There was a great McDonald's toys in the Happy Meal with Wild Wild West.
I feel like they shot a music video for Wild Wild West, and they ended up having like 2 hours of B-roll, and they're like, you know what, we could probably piece this together to be an entire movie, and that's what the movie was. Like, it wasn't meant to be a movie.
All right, we've completely derailed.
You derailed
from
us.
Like, I guess.
Yeah, in a very serious conversation. Yeah, back to it. He's like, what happened to Tysha?
Don't call her over.
He's like, where'd she go? He's like, I don't know. Like, was she killed? I don't think so. Like, she was well paid. She had learned her lesson. I'm sure the steward just probably sent her on her way. Sent her on her way where?
She went back to where whores go.
Wherever whores go. Bang. He called his bluff.
Right in the guts.
Tywin does say you don't have the balls. He no balls him when he's like, I'll shoot you.
Which I think is kind of crazy because Tyrion has shown that he has balls, right? He led the van in a battle that wasn't supposed to be won. He led the Blackwater and was in the middle of the fighting.
He's done a lot.
Yeah.
If anything, he's shown that he's got the kahunas to do this thing.
Yep.
And
he does it.
He didn't even flinch.
Yeah, Tywin's like, you shot me. He shoots him right in the groin. Tywin's like, you shot me. And
he's like, good job, Dad. You figured it out.
You were always quick to grasp the situation. That must be why your hand. Yeah. He's like, you are no son of mine. And then Tyrion's not quite like, I'm the top dog Lannister, but he's like, no, I'm you writ small, which is basically, I'm exactly like you. Like, I'm just a little version. And I think it kind of goes to exactly what you're saying. Like, Tywin thinks him a coward, but he steps up when it's time to step up. He leads the van in the battle. He does the Blackwater deal, right? He's like, you're a coward. You wouldn't do it. I don't think Tywin would flinch at killing his dad. We know, I don't know how much Kyle knows, but we know Tywin and his dad didn't have a great relationship, and Tywin did kind of bitch him. Maybe not to death, but...
I forget what it was, but yeah.
Basically, I think his dad wasn't holding people to their loans. They would give out loans. He wasn't holding them.
That's right. He said he had to like restore the name.
That's what happened with the Range and Tarbex. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. Yeah.
So do me a favor, Dad, and die quickly. I got a shit to catch.
You got to get the fuck out.
And he did do that. He watched him die. He relieved himself some more on the toilet, and
the smell proved the old jape was also a lie. In the end, Tywin Lannister did not shit gold. Yeah,
nice,
great chapter.
That was for sure. I don't know what's next for Tyrion. I mean, like he's obviously not on this team anymore, and that's kind of where we got a lot of those guys spread out into the world. So I don't know where he heads next. Right,
Nelson's favorite part of the story.
Yeah, I feel like Arya's kind of in the same boat where it's kind of like anything's up. Like who knows? And I think George kind of like likes to leave characters like that maybe at the end of books so that he can go anyway. I
wonder if he ends up at River Run somehow. I don't know where else he would go. Maybe he tries to take Casterly Rock back. Maybe we get some time out there. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't been out there yet. So
just solo.
Let's go to the Rock. Like to. Let's go check out the Rock. He is the heir.
Well, that's actually what I thought is he would go investigate where Tysha is, but who knows? I don't know if he's really that connected to her any longer, right?
So he's going to wherever whores go.
Don't say that word.
The other thing I want to ask about is it's not really a character, but I think Tywin dying is huge, right? It's one of the things like Ned
For sure.
dies. That's the thing that gets mentioned in like every chapter after for like even now. Ned getting like, oh, Ned.
Yeah.
Ned's
Well,
dead.
that was last
Traitor.
chapter, right? I never knew the man, but your dad was honorable or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So
Or the other side, he was a traitor and we had to kill him.
I think that's one of the things that George does really well. Like when you have deaths like this, there is like some shock to them, but they don't feel pure shock. They all feel earned, but also they all are impactful in the story later. This one,
Some ripples.
Tywin seems to be the one holding King's Landing, the Lannisters, the
For
entire
sure.
realm together. Like now what? Cersei's in charge? Tommen's in charge?
Well, yeah, in the South, right? Like, I mean, we got some kind of serious issues because the Red Viper just got murdered in the ring.
Yep.
Like Tywin probably would have to hold that together somehow. So yeah, maybe Tyrion ends up south. I don't know. Like I said, those are my two guesses.
No,
I guess.
I guess my question here is not like, hey, take the Tywin death into your decision for Tyrion. It's more like what's happening in King's Landing now.
Who's the next hand?
Yeah. Who's like, is Cersei in charge? Is Tywin is
Who is
Tommen
the-
going to start
who
making
is the heir
actual
to-
choices?
Yeah, I don't
Like,
know, man. Yeah, you're right. He is king currently. That is like he killed the king
Who's
again.
the heir to
Essentially,
Castle Rock right now? That's pretty wild.
I mean, I guess Jamie's got to take over.
Jamie legally
Jamie's the
can't.
Kingsguard.
He
And
can't.
it seems like there's no one pressing him for it anymore. Tywin was the
King-
one saying, drop the Kingsguard and be the heir of the Castle Rock.
I'm saying
again.
at King's Landing is what I'm saying.
Oh, no,
Jamie
Jamie
takes
can.
over.
Oh,
Yep.
Jamie as
Yep.
hand. All right.
You can be hand and Lord Commander. There's a
We
precedent
have
for
just
that.
seen that. That was a news to
Another
me.
thing, yeah. Another thing in House of the
Okay.
Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's a lot to open, a lot of implication. I don't like Cersei's obviously gonna make a play, so maybe she tries to get one of these other guys in there, Osmond or somebody. We just mentioned him here.
Yep.
Seems like her closest people, but I think Jamie's gonna try and fight against it. I think that's gonna be the power struggle we see now, as the two of them kind of growing apart.
Jamie and Cersei are like the devil and angel on Tommen's shoulders in King's Landing now.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's interesting.
I don't think Tommen's gonna do too much himself, but
Well, he's the king, so you
The boy
gotta
king.
work through him no matter what. No matter who's in charge, you kind of got to work through him.
I know.
Right?
But
He's
still.
scribbling his name on papers right now
yeah, he's
Yeah, we
stamping
know.
him
with a
Wax
red
seals.
crayon.
yeah. All right, cool.
All right.
Well, we'll see Kyle in the next one for Samwell 5.
Oh, right back to the guy.
Right back to Sammy. I think we got like 4 chapters left. Is that right?
Yeah, including the epilogue, I think.
I tried
Yeah.
not to read like names and stuff, so I didn't. Maybe it's 3 in that blog.
I think at this point, it's not a big deal to say who the names are.
It's still more fun to not know. I try
Yeah.
not to know too far ahead until I get to the end of the prior one, you know? So Samwell and then 2 more and then an epilogue. Cool.
This is the first one we've had with an epilogue, too, right? Like, I think Game of Thrones and
We've had
Clash of
some
Kings both have
prologues,
prologues,
yeah.
but not epilogues. Yep.
Cool. Looking forward to it.
All right.
Yep, so we'll see Kyle on Sam 5. We'll see the rest of you guys in the spoiler section for Tyrion 11. Bye, Kyle. See you on the next one.
All right, later, nerds.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Bye, Kyle.
Bye, Kyle. Thanks for hanging out with us.
See you on the next one for Samwell 5.
Sammy 5.
Jeff, what we got for this one?
So, I don't really have any hot takes. I think we kind of know where he's going, right? He's going east. He has a weird ass journey to get east into the gates of Dany. Whether he's gonna become her hand or not, like I don't even know if I want to jump down that rabbit hole with you. I don't know if you have all that planned or not.
Well, we don't know, so it's all speculation, so we can wait. We can hold off on that for now.
The one thing that we've been talking about leading up to this moment was whether Shay was working for Tywin or not.
Yep.
And my curiosity reading this chapter again was, did Varys encourage her to tell him being Tyrion, about the mosaic? To be like, hey, you know,
To like,
did you want to lay that foundation?
that's some
like,
5D chess, like hope, and then
Yeah.
you'd have to hope Tyrion catches on it. Like, I guess if not, Tyrion Varys could have been like, hey, just in case you didn't notice, like we're actually under the tower of the head. But
yeah.
I don't know.
The vibe I just got with
I don't
Varys,
think you need Varys to know to be in on it. To have, I think this chapter doesn't really give too much insight on if she was working for Tywin or not, because
Yeah.
like I think it's clear that her conversation with Tyrion she's kind of just like trying to say whatever she needs to say to save her life. So whether she was working from Tywin from the beginning, we're not going to learn much in that conversation. Whether she wasn't, and Tywin's kind of forcing this on her against her will after the fact, and she's kind of being honest with Tyrion, saying like, "Hey, I liked it better. Like your dad scares me. Get me out of here." Like, I don't know if we know. I don't know if it really matters either.
Just what I thought about Varys' vibe when he was like, "No, don't do that." It's kind of like Willy Wonka when it's like, do you remember Willy Wonka the original? Yeah. And they're like, "No, please don't touch that. Don't jump in the river. Oh no."
Yeah, like, every rule he gives them is the rule that they all
like
break them.
He's kind of saying it, but like he doesn't really care.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, please don't climb up the ladder." And there he goes, climb up the ladder. "Oh, please don't go down the third door on the left."
Willy Wonka's kind of like is like the perfect movie to explain like the whole rules are made to be broken like idea. Right, like literally every rule he gives them, they break. It turns into a catastrophe. Then he ships them out until we end up with Charlie, who's not actually breaking rules, but he kind of did with the
So
thing,
just like I can just see Varys standing there like, "No, please don't go up there."
Yeah,
but like he doesn't really care, right? That's my whole thing. Like either way, does he get on the ship? Does he get on the ship and go east?
He doesn't get on the ship, but to the other point, we literally don't see him until the epilogue of Dance with Dragons. From this point, I don't think we see Varys again until the epilogue of Dance with Dragons. So two full books from now.
And where is he there? In disguise?
Kevin Lannister is the POV for the last chapter in Dance with Dragons, and he basically has a council chamber. He's basically playing the role of Tywin. So Cersei got arrested for her shenanigans. He kind of takes over. He's not doing any bullshit. He kind of has things in a good spot. Varys kills him, and Varys basically says, "Yo, I need Dany. I got some Targaryen shit happening soon. I need the war, or I need Westeros to be at war, because that'll make her coming over easier if she's like the savior."
I didn't realize
ending this
Varys
war.
Killed Kevin.
Yeah, and he's like, "You, Kevin, are making everything way too peaceful." Like you're taking care of things well, like Tywin would. So I'm gonna kill you because I know that then Cersei will be in charge, which means very shortly the realm will be in chaos, and then Dany/Vagon, whoever can be the savior. That's kind of the next time we see Varys, which again, interesting. 2 books from now, so not on the ship, or maybe on the ship and then comes back because it's so long. Who knows where the fuck he goes right away? I don't think it really matters, but. Yeah, we don't.
It's interesting that again, Tyrion going up and interacting with Tywin, whether he succeeded or not, would probably just cause more chaos, and he's like cool with chaos, right? So that being Varys being cool with the chaos.
Well, it's interesting because Varys and Illyrio had this conversation early on in Game of Thrones. That's the one that Arya hears, where basically Illyrio's like, "Yo," Varys is like, "Yo, war's happening. Speed your end of things up."
Oh yeah.
And Illyrio's like, "Yo, this is gonna take some time on my end. You need to slow your shit down. Like, hold the war off." And Varys like, "It's too late. Like, cat's out of the bag." Yeah. So it's kind of this whole like Illyrio and Varys are trying to time when can Westeros be in conflict, so that somebody coming in from Essos can kind of almost be the uniter or the savior. Mm-hmm. And it seems like where the end of Dance of Dragons is, at least Varys seems to think that this now is the time. Which makes sense because it seems like if he's with Illyrio, their real bet is Fagon. And by the end of Dance of Dragons, Fagon is here. He's at John Connington's Griffin's Roost. He's at Griffin's Roost, and I think he's attacking Storm's End, is like where the last we see John Con and Fagon. So they're here, and then seeming like that's what Varys is popping shit off for. So... yeah, I didn't really have any points either, except for kind of like what we're doing, talking about the future of some of these characters. So I had Varys. The other one I had was Tywin, and I guess what I mean by that is kind of like what I was saying with Kyle. Like, what's the future now that Tywin's gone? Yeah. The immediate future is they have his funeral. That is literally like a couple. That's like 2 Cersei chapters and a Jaime chapter. I think we're all covering Tywin's funeral. Then it's kind of like Cersei's in charge. Jaime doesn't agree with everything. They start butting heads. Cersei starts getting in trouble with the whole trying to accuse Marjorie of
being a whore herself, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And Cersei kind of gets caught on it. Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm excited to read those chapters again, just because like there's one thing, those chapters get really long. So
they get long. The other thing is, I think a lot of time when you're on a first read, you just want to know what happens next with your favorite character.
Yeah.
Where on a second read, you already know everything that happens with your favorite character up until the end of the book. So when you read a chapter that you weren't as interested in the first time, you're not as trying to just get through it to get to the next part. So
I'm trying to find the deets.
Yeah, I think there's more. I think this books 4 and 5 are better on a reread. I guess the last point is anything for Tyrion. Yeah, he goes. You kind of said it. He goes on a very convoluted. Well, convoluted when you're more of a show fan than a book fan, right? Because he's going down the river with all these characters we haven't seen before.
I mean, he's on a boat, then he's on a raft, and then he's on
Volantis.
He's a slave.
Yep.
You know, then he finds the other little dwarf girl.
Penny. Yep. So, yeah, there's a lot of different stuff that doesn't happen in the show. I think a lot of it's good, though. And I guess the other thing that I'll say is I think this chapter is great because there's a few lines in this chapter that get repeated. In Jaime, there's a line here that Tyrion says that Jaime probably thinks to himself 20 times in the next 2 books. And there's a line that Tywin says that Tyrion thinks to himself probably 20 times in the next 2 books. Tyrion says Cersei's fucking Lancel, Osmond Kettleblack, and Moonboy for all I know. Jaime thinks this to himself all the time. Pretty much every time Cersei says something that might not be true to Jaime, he's like, oh, she's a whore. Tyrion said so. And then Tyrion basically thinks to himself wherever whores go all the time. He literally just starts asking. He becomes like a super drunk and he just asks anybody he sees this. It's like when we were in college and we would get drunk and I would just say something stupid to any single person that walked by. Like that's what Tyrion does. Yeah. He's like, where do whores go? Where do whores go? Where do whores go? Just like, I don't know if he thinks it's funny or he just doesn't give a fuck or he hopes someone gives him a serious answer or what. But
all right.
Yeah. So, and I guess the other thing is compared to the show, what I was going to say to Kyle is like, the whole leaving the Tysha reveal out of the show, like, are Tyrion and Jaime upset with each other when they leave? Like, when Jaime frees Tyrion?
I think Jaime's upset with him, I think, just because he's on the other side, kind of.
Or does Tyrion just get upset because Jaime thinks he might have killed Joffrey, so he lies about it or something? It's just weird, like, when Tyrion gets back, the only real conflict is Jaime's a little upset that Tyrion killed Tywin. He's like, you killed our father. And Tyrion's like, well, he was a dick to me. And Jaime's like, yeah, you're right. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And they're just like buddies really quick. I don't think that will happen in the books.
Yeah.
Not that they won't like ever get over it and be friends again, but I don't think it'll be like a one conversation thing. You know what I mean?
Unless the only thing that I could see getting them a little bit closer to being back would be like an Olenna shell shocker. Like, nope, actually I killed Joffrey.
That's a good point. Okay.
And then he'd be like, oh shit, now Tyrion lied to me to like double lied, just to mess with me.
That doesn't explain why Tyrion would be not upset with Jaime though. That would explain why Jaime wouldn't be upset with Tyrion. Yeah.
Maybe just time heals all wounds.
Yeah. I guess just the last little thing is we've mentioned this before that there's a theory that Oberyn has poisoned Joffrey, but also Tywin. Oh.
Yeah, he's poisoned.
And that's why he's on the shitter.
He's dying. And the smell. The smell was bad.
It smells so bad. It's weird. Why does Tyrion know? We kind of talked about this in the non-spoiler. Why does Tyrion know Tywin's going to be on the shitter?
Yeah, no, I
no good answer.
That's a weird deal. I don't. Yeah. Other than like
he just knows his dad's a pooper or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like I could, my dad wakes up at 4 a.m. for work every day. Like that's a little bit different than knowing that he's on the shitter.
On the shitter, yeah.
You know. Yeah, you weren't down the hallway and you heard someone walk by. Like obviously, if someone's walking by in the middle of the night, they're either going to the bathroom or they're going to the fridge. Right? There's like you're only 2 options. Yeah.
Well, I mean, except for Tywin, who seems like the kind of guy who might be up at 3 a.m. writing letters to Roose Bolton and Walder Frey about his next scheme. You know what I mean? So you never
might be in his office. So I don't know how. It's a weird line that he knew
where his dad was going to be. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So, that's all I got. Well, see you guys. It's also I've noticed something in this, and I think I said this kind of way early on in the podcast that as we are getting closer to the end, the spoiler sections are getting shorter, just because
I mean you can't.
There's not as much that we know that Kyle doesn't. We've been through 2/3 of the books or three.
Well, even that too. Like we're coming to the end of the book where you're leaving everything wide open. So
yeah. So kind of just there's nothing
it's
really.
Not like the Red Weddings in next chapter.
Leading to go off of it, just us. Yeah, just kind of be like, well, the future of this character is blah 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 blah. So, yep. All right. Well, yeah, we'll see you guys in Sam. Like, subscribe, do the things.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.